Hello everyone, welcome to Scorcher Toys at Anymoon.com's review of Arcadia's Reactive Armor accessory for the Arcadia VF0 toy. This accessory was released in February 2017 for 17,800 yen. Inside the box you got the armor parts themselves, instructions, and stickers. That was it. For those of you who really get a kick out of disassembling a toy to its core components, you will have a lot of fun with these reactive armor parts. As you can see, they can be disassembled very thoroughly, and you'll need to disassemble them quite a bit to get them on the toy. We're going to begin this video by talking about installation of the reactive armor. So to start, turn your toy around and you want to install the slotted conformal fuel tanks. So just spread the wings open, bring the backpack down, got a fingernail in there and you can kind of pry this tank away. Grab your slotted tank. It's just got two pegs that go into those two holes, and press, and it'll snug in nice and tight. And now you're ready to begin. Now you can certainly break down the leg into a few more parts than this, but you don't need to. I would start with this portion of the leg assembled. So there's the toe piece, the front shin, the outside piece, and the outside fin cover, and you can just slide that right on over, and the fin cover actually helps you kind of figure out the position of it. And then you can take your interior piece, and you have this peg up here, this peg down here, and this slot down here that the peg from the toe fits into. And you're just going to go ahead and line all of that up. And the toe is actually the fattest peg, so you might want to start at the bottom and work your way up. Maybe a little bit easier said than done here, so let's get it lined up. Once it's in there, things should just start popping together. You obviously will not have a camera in your face, but there we go. Alright, so once that all comes together, you're going to turn the toy around, and you can put on the back piece, and the back piece just slides right on top of this peg, this peg, this peg, and this peg. And again, it's just a matter of finding that point where the pegs are all sliding in together. And once it does, it'll snug right up, and your leg armors are on the toy. Now we're going to move our way up to the hip armors, and you know you've got the right one, right direction on it, because you could pull this up like you would if you were moving the leg forward. There is a little ball on the interior piece. That ball fits into that screw hole right there. So you just slide over until it snugs in, and then that is installed. Now grab your second piece, which is actually two pieces because that grenade's removable. You're going to slide this peg into that hole right in the middle there, and the peg on top will then fit in the slot there. So let's go ahead and get that in there, and there you go. Now your hip armor is installed. Turning the toy around, we are going to slide in the back plate now. It just is a friction piece that slides right in, and you'll know you've got it in position when the top of it sort of conforms to the position of the backpack. The arm armors simply clamp in place. Take your exterior portion, you can find easily enough where it snugs in, and then just take the interior portion, line it up, and the pegs will pop right into place. The trickiest part of installation is the chest armor, and it's got two little clips on the bottom that you can't really see or navigate as you're putting on the armor. What you do have are these blue outer edges that need to slide on top of the chest. So as we bring it on, they're going to come up and over, and as you push in, you should feel those bottom pieces grab. And if you've done this correctly, you can actually lift the toy up by the chest armor, and it's not going to go anywhere on you. Now we're going to go ahead and install the backpack piece, and you can just slide this slot over your backpack, and then you want to get these pieces here into those slotted fuel tanks that you installed earlier, and just press in, and that should lock the backpack into place. For the final step of installation, we are going to put the shoulder armor on, and you can see there's a hole that goes towards the interior and actually fits over this little peg here. So you're going to move your arm out of the way and just feed the shoulder armor onto that peg. I'm going to go in all the way, and then you have your shoulder armors in position. Alternatively, if you prefer, you could attach the shoulder armors to the backpack first, go ahead and slide the backpack on and tap it into place as originally instructed, and then just flip the toy around and you can bring those shoulder armors in and you're good to go that way too. So to clear up some things I'm sure I'll get questions about, the accessory does not come with a toy. This accessory only fits Arcadia VF0 toys. It does not fit Yamato VF0 toys. It does fit the VF0A and VF0S, but it does not fit the VF0D. It also does not have any metal content whatsoever. Now obviously the primary gimmick of reactive armor are the missile bays, and so you do have the missile bays in the chest that swing open like so. The shoulder missile bays are a little problematic for me because if you pull up, generally what happens is the entire door just comes out. It would have been nice if they put a little bump on the bottom so it would have stopped before it came all the way out. Anyways, you could then open them up and reveal those giant missiles in the shoulder bay. Now one very sad thing I would say, the missiles all have a warm pink hue to them. So rather than being cool in maybe gray or cool white, they're all a little bit pink. And it's not just the red reflecting off of the doors. The missiles themselves do have a pink hue. Now there are some weaknesses to the reactive armor, and in particular it's handling the gun. Now, one of the weaknesses that it exposes of the underlying toy is that there's nothing that locks the hand in the forward position. So as part of transformation, you pull the hand out from inside the forearm, but then there's no way of keeping that hand all the way extended. So if I were to put the armor on and pull the hand off, and then get the gun on the hand and go to install the hand again, the hand is just going to slide right back in. So you have to instead put the gun on with the hand already installed on the toy, which is certainly doable, but you can't really get it in that same super sturdy grip you would otherwise, and you're going to get something like a little bit of a droop downward. Now fortunately it's obviously holding the gun, so not the biggest complaint in the world, but it is just a little bit awkward. Now one more cool item is the ability to remove the grenade from the hip armor and go ahead and put that in the hand of the toy. Now what both the gun and this grenade sort of reveal is that some extra fixed post hands would have been really nice to have, so it's a bummer they weren't included. So I have a few gripes about the back of the armor parts accessory. First, I don't like the little pegs that go into the shoulder joints. It's definitely a way for a toy to work. It's not how it would work in reality, and that to me is a bummer. When you're paying this much money, you would expect for as realistic a solution as possible. Now, the benefit of doing that is that you are able to move the arms around without having that giant armor turning around on you, which I admit is definitely a positive, but it just, to me, not optimal. I would rather actually have that armor piece attached, and I'd rather have that armor piece be a little bit smaller so it's less of an issue that it's turning around up there. Also, this backpack is too low down. It's supposed to be up above these spikes, not using these spikes as a way of slotting into position. So I would rather see that backpack be up taller, up around these spikes on the tail fins, rather than down lower where it's currently positioned. So that to me is also a bummer. Then when I'm handling this toy, it's nice that there's ball jointed boosters back here, but that gives you the ability to also pop off the entire backpack with the shoulder armors on accident. So not a huge fan of that either. What I do like is the clear detailed parts there, the lights, and all of the gold trim. I think that really pops out very nicely for an otherwise not so detailed from a paint perspective toy. These armor parts are a little chunky overall, and that will cause things like the toy to be resting on the interior of the armor rather than the foot itself. But you can obviously get very dynamic poses. You've got these hip armors that flare forward that allow you to use that gear walk joint to good effect. The knee armor comes forward, so the knee, whatever that knee is doing, it's not going to cause any conflicts. I'm obviously using the extended hip gimmick right now to get even wider stance, and the toy is supporting the weight, no problem. Things are not sloppy on me. So all very good things to see. One thing I don't like, this wing armor in the back here, it looks like it should be flush with the wings, and it also looks like it should have a little wrap around that covers the front of the wings. Neither of those things are happening here. I can't swear that they're supposed to happen, but this implementation, kind of like a duck tail, just definitely doesn't look right to me. But again, articulation-wise, you can have a lot of fun with this, and that is good. Now, I love me some armor accessory, so I'm happy Arcadia went ahead and did this accessory for us. The price point, though, is astronomical, so it makes it really hard for me to recommend this to anyone except the most die-hard Macross Zero fans. Even then, the Arcadia VF-Zero S toy, which I did enjoy, it's now largely covered up by this accessory. So you're in this weird situation where do you need two $300 toys to support a $150 accessory? It's a pretty crazy place to be getting to when there's a lot of really cool toys out there for less than just the cost of this accessory. And this accessory doesn't exactly knock it out of the park either. It's definitely got some flaws. So the good news is it's sturdy, it handles well. If you are a fan of the reactive armor, you're not going to be let down. If you're just on the fence, I would definitely recommend you shop for many of the other items out there that you're going to get a lot more play value from. All right, check out anymoon.com for my full article, and as always, thanks for watching.